I do not like Ratcatcher 2, or at least I didn't like her when I watched the movie the first time. I'm probably the only person who did not like Ratcatcher, and it is because most of the characters' backstories were revealed through exposition. The only exceptions being Bloodsport, Harley, and Rick Flag. The film mostly didn't use any exposition techniques to make this less jarring. Sometimes you'd want the audience to be confused about something and then want the expository explanation of that, or you reveal it through a moment of tension, but the Suicide Squad does not do any of that. The movie sometimes uses humor, but it's more of a cover-up to bring back interest. A quick example, Polka Dot Man's backstory. Polka Dot Man revealed his backstory through exposition, and at the end, Gunn thought he could use humor to cover this up, but it didn't work because humor is still subjective. This personally didn't work for me and for a lot of the other characters. I wasn't able to empathize with them. I liked the characters throughout the first viewing of the film, but I couldn't say that I loved them. Especially Ratcatcher. Then, I hopped onto Twitter to give a review about the movie with my 16 followers at the time, and I saw a bunch of people liking Ratcatcher. I watched the movie a second time and I realized that Ratcatcher was genuinely a very well written character. But the writing techniques used were very subtle. So how is Ratcatcher such a good character? I'll explain how Gunn made a character likable through subtlety. Ratcatcher in the entire Suicide Squad is the best person, and what I mean by that is that she has the most good in her. You could argue that Bloodsport is actually a better person than Ratcatcher because of his character change at the end, and okay, fine, but the way he was built up compared to Ratcatcher is the real difference. Bloodsport is a father who doesn't want his daughter to end up like her, so he acts very mean to her to make her despise him and ensure that she doesn't end up like him. He uses a lot of naughty words throughout the film and is honestly a likable and empathetic character. But Ratcatcher is built differently. To us, Bloodsport just has a little more depth in him, which gives the story a little more emotion, but we still know that he's a bad guy. Ratcatcher is introduced to us in contrast to all the other characters. James Gunn uses the kick the dog or the cat strategy, where a character does something evil to another character, telling us that a certain character is not somebody we should sympathize with, and that we can be more empathetic to the other. Gunn kind of uses the strategy when King Shark tries to eat Ratcatcher, and at that moment you feel a sort of danger towards her, already making her a bit of an empathetic character. But her attitude towards King Shark is what solidified this. At first she gets mad, threatening to kill him, but Bloodsport hilariously reveals his rat phobia, so she backs down. Then Ratcatcher surprisingly tries to empathize and maybe even sympathize with King Shark. She makes King Shark back down by becoming his friend, and at this moment, we like this character. Maybe even love. The contrast between Ratcatcher and the others was that Ratcatcher wanted to be friends with King Shark, and that she would bet anything on love. This is important later, but the point is that the others didn't want to trust King Shark, and she did. By allowing us to trust King Shark, we trust her. The best scene with Ratcatcher is when she reveals her backstory. Her backstory is also told through exposition, just like most of the other characters. However, it works due to several reasons. Ratcatcher has been mostly joyful throughout the entire movie, and usually when a joyful character becomes sad, you become sad and can feel that emotion. It's why anime, for a lot of people, resonates with them because the heightened expressibility that the characters provide works really well with them. While this isn't what the Suicide Squad did, it's a more subtler version of that, from happy to sad. However, this is just a small principle used in the scene. The main reason is the perspective which we see it in. Bloodsport, a father, listens to her backstory and can sympathize with her. He understands how she feels about losing her dad, because in a way, that's what he did to his daughter. This moment also implies that he is thinking about changing the way he treats his daughter. Through this perspective, we don't see expository, boring dialogue. Instead, we feel the emotion between the two characters. There's this great video from Zoe where she explains how your feelings don't care about facts, and I might talk about how that affects storytelling in a later video, but essentially, your feelings don't care about facts because you don't understand the emotions and scale of that. Your mind isn't able to picture that as well as showing it. Gunn didn't and couldn't add a flashback scene for each character because it would slow down the pace significantly, making expository dialogue the only way he could reveal their backstories. By revealing it through perspective, Bloodsport sympathizes with Ratcatcher, enabling us to empathize or sympathize with her. This is why the scene works so well. Like, this is an actual genius move. The emotional bonding with these two characters to subtly form a father-daughter relationship works really well. The one last thing about the scene is that it likes to use what I like to call the Snyder method, where Gunn shows us Ratcatcher's flashback in a very stylistically pleasing way. In the book, Save the Cat, he explains that whenever you show exposition with something interesting or distracting in the background, then it makes it a lot less jarring. They did this in Inception, where Cobb explains to blank character about the story world for 15 minutes. How boring, right? No, because a lot of the scene involves showing us these high concepts while explaining it to us in a very fun way. In the Suicide Squad, the flashback sequences are shown to us in a very visually pleasing manner, hence why I call it the Snyder method. Now that Ratcatcher is pretty much universally loved, you can now have moments with her that raises your personal investment in the film. This can be used in a tense scene where life could be at stake. This was perfectly done when Peacemaker kills Rick Flag and then almost kills Ratcatcher. At this moment, we haven't seen the full extent of her powers, so we think that Peacemaker has the upper hand. Then, Bloodsport saves her in a very fun way. And then at the end, we get a very satisfying finale where Ratcatcher brings a horde of rats and just puts Star to the ground. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, as they say it. This is my first video on this YouTube channel, and I really hope it's a good one, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching again.